In a quiet, African village lived a young girl named Asena. She wasn't like the other girls who sang and danced under the moon. Asena often sat alone, lost in thought. Her mother had drowned in a river accident when she was just 6. Her father, once strong, had become a broken man who drank and spoke only to the wind. The villagers pitied her, calling her the ghost's child. Only her grandmother Nana truly saw her. Nana had cloudy eyes but a wise heart. She taught Asena everything: how to cook, how to read the wind before the rain, and how to listen when silence spoke. In Nana's hut stood a strange, cracked mirror. Everyone feared it, but Asena felt a strange pull towards it, a sense of belonging. The villagers believed the mirror was cursed, but for Asena, it was a source of peace. She would sit before it for hours, quiet and still. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Nana whispered, "You see things in it, don't you?" Asena nodded. "Sometimes I see Mama, sometimes I see myself, but older." Nana smiled. "That mirror has been in our family for many years. The crack is not damage. It is a path. One day it will guide you." Asena didn't fully understand, but from that night on, she visited the mirror every evening, watching and waiting. Time passed and Nana grew weak. The strong woman who once pounded yam with thunder now barely had the strength to whisper. One night she held Asena's hand tightly. "Keep the mirror safe, even in fire. It will guide you." The next morning, Nana was gone. Asena buried her grandmother with trembling hands. Her father didn't cry. He just drank more palm wine. Weeks later, 2 strange men arrived. "You belong to me," her father said coldly. "Now you belong to them." He had traded Asena for 2 goats and 2 yams. As they led her away, she wept silently, clutching her small bag. Wrapped safely inside was the cracked mirror, her only link to love and home. Asena was taken to a faraway village. Her new master, Sako, was a large farmer with a deep voice and strong arms. His wife, Paloma, hated Asena from the very first day. Asena worked from dawn till night fetching water, pounding yam, and weeding the fields. Her hands bled, but she never complained. Every night after her bath, she would sit by her cracked mirror. Strange images appeared on its surface. She saw herself cooking in a grand kitchen filled with golden pots with 2 angry women watching her. She didn't understand the visions, but they gave her a sliver of hope. One night, she followed a recipe she saw in the mirror. The food tasted richer, full of life, and everyone in the house noticed. Sako was astonished. "Your hands are blessed," he said, licking his fingers. From that day on, only Asena cooked for him. Her food brought a new peace to the house. His sons started helping her, laughing and talking with her. One of them, Jerry, even carved a beautiful wooden spoon just for her. But as Asena's star rose, so did Paloma's jealousy. She saw her son smiling at Asena and her husband speaking gently to her. One scorching afternoon, Paloma screamed, "You are stealing my home!" Asena stood silently, tears streaming down her face. That night, Sako found Paloma throwing Asena's few belongings outside. "She stays," he declared firmly. But he knew it was no longer safe for the girl. As if on cue, a royal messenger soon arrived from the king's palace. The king needed a new cook for the royal palace, and Sako knew this was Asena's chance. "You will be safer there," he said kindly. The next morning, Asena prepared to leave. Sako's sons stood quietly under the mango tree, their faces full of sorrow. Jerry handed her the carved spoon. "Don't forget us," he whispered. Asena wept but smiled through her tears. She carried her small bag and the precious cracked mirror hidden inside. The road to the palace was long and dusty, but she held on to Nana's words. "The mirror will guide you." Deep inside, she felt that her story was not ending. It was just beginning. The palace kitchen was vast and intimidating, with gleaming silver pots lining the walls. The chief cook barked orders, but Asena worked quietly, pouring her heart into her cooking. That night, the king's meal was served. As he took his first bite, the entire hall fell silent. The king looked up, a look of wonder on his face. "Who made this?" he asked. "The new girl," someone replied. "Bring her to me," the king commanded. Asena bowed low before the king and queen. "You will stay here as our cook," the king announced. That night, Asena unwrapped her cracked mirror. New recipes appeared on its surface like shining stars, each one carrying a whisper of love and the power of home. Soon, the entire palace fell in love with Asena's cooking. The queen praised her meals and the princes began to call her sister, but her success bred jealousy. Two maidens, Dina and Kula, couldn't stand it. She was a slave, they whispered. Now she acts like royalty. One night, the mirror showed Asena a terrifying warning. She saw two dark figures sneaking into the kitchen, pouring white powder into the stew. Her heart pounding, Asena ran to Madame Tina, the chief cook. "Evil will happen tonight," she warned. Together they hid behind the storehouse. Soon enough, Dina and Kula crept in, giggling as they poured salt into the pot. The guards caught them red-handed. The king was furious and had them sent to the palace dungeons for trying to ruin the feast and Asena's name. The next morning, Asena and Madame Tina cooked a new feast, and the aroma filled the palace. The king stood and raised his golden cup. "From today," he announced proudly, "Asena is no longer just a cook. She is the chief royal chef." The crowd erupted in cheers. Princess Aigen hugged her tightly, and Madame Tina cried tears of joy. That night, Asena looked into the mirror and saw Nana smiling back at her. The mirror had kept its promise, guiding her through pain and fear into the light. But even in her success, Asena never forgot the kindness she was shown in her darkest days. That evening, Asena knelt before the queen. "I have one request," she said humbly. "Please allow me to send food each week to Sako and his sons who once sheltered me." The queen smiled warmly. "You have a pure heart, child." "It shall be done." And so, every week, a royal basket filled with food and a small handwritten note left the palace. Far away, Sako would sit under his mango tree, opening the basket with pride. "She is doing well," he'd say to his sons. Years later, Asena gave the cracked mirror to her own daughter. "This was Nana's," she whispered. "It sees what is hidden." "It sees you." The little girl looked into the mirror and smiled. The story lived on. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more.